Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. Showtime's Bernstein talks Wilder versus Joshua potential fight. Stay tuned. What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chat channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We are working. Now, shout out to On the Ropes Boxing Radio, link in the description. They have a podcast. They interviewed Bernstein of Showtime, longtime boxing analyst, commentator, and he gave his thoughts on Joshua Wilder, which is a great heavyweight fight I definitely want to see. And I'm going to read his quotes, kind of give my thoughts. Bernstein says, I will say that the way this is going for both fighters, it starts to feel like whoever gets to who first. Although we've seen Anthony Joshua in trouble and come back from it, we haven't seen Wilder in that kind of difficulty come back. He continues by saying, I think Wilder's best chance in that fight is to get him out of there in the first 3 or 4 rounds. I believe if the fight goes on, Joshua's strength could be an impact, but we'll see. Joshua is probably technically a better fighter than Wilder. Wilder is quicker, has better movement, is more difficult to figure out because he's so unorthodox and unconventional sometimes. Both fighters have certain things that they can bring into this fight as a plus. Boxing has had a great year in 2017 and heading into 2018. It's looking like all great matches are being made for this coming year as well. The Wilder-Joshua fight would go a long way towards putting boxing right back on the path it should be, and it would help build on 2017, which was really special. So that's Bernstein's comments. I want to give mine. I definitely disagree with some of it. I agree with the last stanza where he was talking about 2017 being a phenomenal year and we're starting 2018 great. You know what I mean? There's some potential matches that could be made there. You got fights that are already on the books. Danny Garcia, Brandon Rios, Lamont Peterson, Errol Spence Jr., right? Robert Easter's on that card. You have a ton of fight. Keith Thurman looks like he's coming back. And then potential fights like Wilder and Joshua. So I want to give my thoughts. I'll tell you what I disagree with. I think it's really on paper it's a 50-50 fight. You can make a strong argument for Joshua as being technical, like Bernstein is saying. He's more technical, but Wilder is like his name, Wilder. He's more wild, more unpredictable, more unorthodox. Me personally, I favor Wilder for a variety of reasons. If the fight actually gets made, then I'll spend my time doing the 7 reasons or really analyze the breakdown. But I'm not in the business of wasting my time. So if the fight doesn't get made for whatever reason, politics or somebody loses, then it's a waste of time for me to really elaborate and break down a non-existing fight. You know what I mean? So I have my reasons, but moreover, I keep saying the same thing. 2018, my motto is let's see it. Joshua says, oh, I can knock him out. Wilder's like, I can knock him out. Let's see it. You know what I mean? It's nothing. You're the same division. Your promoters work with each other. It's a big fight, big money fight. Everybody gets paid. Fans would love it. 2 knockout artists. You know what I mean? Between the 2 of them, only one person has went the distance once with one of the fighters, and that was Berstein, who in the rematch got brutally knocked out in the first. So even though he survived the first fight and went 12 with Wilder, it didn't really matter in the rematch. So, I mean, technically, Wilder has everybody he's stepped in with at some point has been brutally knocked out by him. And then Joshua, I believe, is 19-0, and the same thing. He has 19 knockouts. So, hell of a fight. What I disagree with Bernstein is he says it could be an issue of who lands first, which is okay. I have no problem with that. But he says Wilder's best chance is the first 3 or 4 rounds. I don't necessarily agree with that. Like, I draw to the Klitschko fight a lot for this fight. And you could say Klitschko fight's different with Wilder than Wilder. I agree with that. But at the end of the day, Klitschko was coming off a year-plus layoff. He had lost his belts and had one of his worst performances that he's had in the last 10 years versus Tyson Fury. And the way he hit Joshua with that right hand, and it sat him down, and it took several rounds for Joshua to come back, recharge, because Joshua did good, knocked Klitschko down first, and then he let him off the hook And even in that round, Klitschko started coming back. The round where Klitschko got knocked down and hurt. Then the next round, he knocks Joshua down. And for consecutive rounds, the fight was shifting towards the Klitschko side. You know what I mean? Now, we're talking Wilder. He's not 41 years old. Klitschko got cracks. I give him that. But Klitschko's not as aggressive as Wilder. And he's an inch shorter, just like Joshua. Things like that. And he's not athletic, especially at age 41. He's not super athletic. Yeah, I mean, for a 41-year-old, he's more athletic than some bum off the couch. But I'm saying he's not Wilder athletic. You know what I mean? So I just seen something. So what Bernstein's saying, I don't agree with. He says he has to get him out in the first 4 rounds. No, as long as he doesn't get hit with any big major shots. You look at the Klitschko fight. Klitschko hurt him in the midway point. I think it was round 5 or 6, right? So as long as Wilder doesn't get careless, I don't think he has to. As the fight wears on, it leans towards Joshua. See, another reason I disagree, because I watch boxing. I'm not saying Al Bernstein does it, but Joshua, to me, in recent fights, especially with the added muscle, he seems to be depleted, kind of like Canelo. You know what I'm saying? He seems to deplete the gas tank midway through the fight. So again, if Wilder exercises a good jab, and to me, I really feel Joshua's best chance is to badly hurt Wilder early. You know what I mean? So I almost feel the opposite of Bernstein, and it's really because Joshua's gas tank. Bernstein saying Wilder needs to do something major or knock him out in the first 3 or 4 rounds, but after 3 or 4 rounds, that's when Joshua, at least with this added muscle, maybe he should go back to when he was 13-0 and stuff, go back down to those weights, because he seemed to have a little bit more speed, and he was big, but he wasn't as like clunky and massive. You know what I mean? And muscles take more blood circulation and oxygen, things of that sort. So I actually feel the reverse of what Bernstein is saying. I think that Wilder, as long as he plays it safe early, you know what I mean, doesn't get hit with big, tremendous shots and get rocked and stuff, like, you know what I mean, kind of like Kovalev Ward, where an early knockdown, or Maidana Broner, an early knockdown sets a tone for the whole fight of how it plays off. You know what I mean? I think as the fight wears on, it favors Wilder more and more. So I actually disagree and feel the opposite, and a lot of it has something to do with Joshua's recent gas tank. In the Carlos Takam fight, he was winning the rounds. Definitely he won every round, but he wasn't looking super impressive to me, and it looked like he has these stamina lapses in some of his recent fights. Now, the last thing Bernstein said that I disagree with is, he says, Anthony Joshua, we've seen him in trouble and come back from it, but we haven't seen Wilder in that difficulty come back. And I disagree. I mean, I point to the Deontay Wilder versus Eric Molina fight. Now, some people, I'm not comparing. Listen to me, people, because I know a lot of people, they hear a comparison and they start comparing the wrong things. I'm not comparing the quality of fighter of Klitschko to Eric Molina. But this is the heavyweight division where one punch can change everything. And Eric Molina, I don't know if it was before or after the Wilder off the top of my head, but he had knocked out Thomas Adamak, you know what I mean, his name in the heavyweight division and whatnot. And he has power. And bottom line, he buckled Wilder. And then Wilder came back to knock him out. And see, this was Wilder. This was his first title defense. So he didn't have the experience as a champion. So he had to bite down in that fight. Plus, that fight was in his backyard in Alabama or somewhere, right? So he had just beaten Bermain Stavern, very first hometown title defense, and you're getting rocked up by Eric Molina, who is a puncher, an 81% knockout puncher at the time, right? And I don't care if people, oh, but Joshua blew him out in 1 round, because Joshua fought Wilder's leftovers for all intents and purposes. He fought the version that had been brutally knocked out rounds later by Wilder, you know what I'm saying? So he got him after Wilder. But anyway, Wilder beat Stavern for the title, first title defense at home, and he got buckled. He was doing good, then he got buckled. Go watch the fight. Got buckled, and he had to bite down, because, I mean, nobody's trying to get knocked out in general, definitely not at home. So Bernstein's saying, we've seen Joshua in trouble and come back from it. We haven't seen Wilder face difficulty and come back. Like I said, the Eric Molina fight is one that comes to mind where, I mean, despite the opponent, it's a heavyweight that had him hurt, and he came back to stop that heavyweight and bite down. You know what I'm saying? And you guys can say whatever you want, but I even point to situations like Chris Arreola. He had a hurt hand. The whole time the fight was going on, I didn't even know his hand was hurt. You know what I mean? Until after, when he was taking his glove off, he's like, ah, fuck, shit. You know what I mean? Because his hand was sore. So to me, maybe not to you guys, but at least to me, that shows something about Wilder's will to win and his temperament, because he was able to mask that pretty damn good and have a poker face. Now you could say, oh, it was just Chris Arreola, but like I said, these are still heavyweights. You know what I'm saying? I talked to Kenny Porter after the Sean Porter and Adrian Granado's fight, and he told me, he said, man, I had to calm Sean down because he's never been injured in the ring, and he was like starting to flip out a little bit, and I didn't want him to check out. So, you know what I mean, sustaining certain injuries, some guys check out, you know what I mean, especially if they're not used to it. So I still give it credit, even though he's fighting Chris Arreola, still a heavyweight, you know what I mean, who's coming to win. Chris Arreola stood more to gain than Wilder for that fight because Povetkin had failed a drug test, and Chris Arreola was a substitute replacement opponent. So if Chris Arreola would have beat Wilder, it would have did more for his career than Wilder beating Chris Arreola, because Wilder was the favorite. You guys get me? So to me, unlike what Al Bernstein said, I've seen Wilder faced with some adversity, you know what I mean? Maybe not elite level adversity in terms of the opponent he was in there with, but he was still faced with adversity where he had to bite down and hold it together. I do see that. And I mean, even if you look at Wilder's amateur career, there's a video running around where some random guy knocked him out. I mean, he bounced back from that and became a world champion. So I disagree with Bernstein there, but I do agree with him that it's a good fight and it needs to happen. And 2018, let's get it rocking. Let me know your thoughts. Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you smash the like button as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.